So I don't think morals are needed. I don't think morals are needed.
Sometimes the universe is a little too difficult on us. You feel you won't make it, and that there is no hope left at all. But one must keep rolling, because life becomes a little easier when you have someone to share the load with. And when you least expect it, the rains will go away, and it will all be sunny. Like a story of the summer? Welcome to Alive and Kicking with Rahul Bamne. New episodes every Friday. Great, great. Hi, Harsh. Welcome to Alive and Kicking. It's a podcast where we share stories, perspectives, and opinions. I think it's 2020. That's the best thing to do today, especially in these times. I'm so glad you made it to the podcast. I think I remember telling you this during the invite that it's a place. Alive and Kicking is a place for people who have somehow influenced me. They've had a share of some kind of an impact in my life. And before I begin, I have to tell everyone that Harsh and I have met only once in life, only once, and it was when he was at a zine festival, putting
12th
up
of
his
January.
12th of January, putting up his stall, and I have his merchandise, and
We
and then we
walked
traveled.
back.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
walked back till Churchgate. Then we took a train home. He got out at Lille Parle, and I think that is the time we had. I think it was about that 1 hour of being, in each other's company, and this is the very fact that makes me realize that time is no bound to people, and it is not a parameter to the influence they have. So that is why Harsh is here. Also, why Harsh is here because Harsh is a storyteller. In my opinion, Harsh has been associated with this studio called The Habitat, which probably sadly was recently in the news, so you know about it. And he's been associated with it since I think quite a few years. He started off with hosting poetry mics. Then he also performed poetry. I think he sometimes clicks and shoots as well. What I have known of Harsh is only through his art. So I don't know anything about his career graph and how he's been here, where has he reached, and it doesn't really matter to me.
It doesn't.
So it doesn't
Honestly.
exactly. And I think I am so glad that I know him only because of his art. So that is why Harsh is on this episode, which is called Nothing But Stories with Harsh Shah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much for you texted me last night saying you need to do this. And I said no. And you still went ahead and did it. So I applaud your courage and your kind words because I think how I remember you is when Vivian, this amazing person that we both know, Vivian, he took a screenshot of your story and he sent it to me when you first shared 100 bad days. And he said, "Hey, by the way, my friend Rahul, he is a friend of mine from college, and he shared this, and I happened to see it, and I was like, wow, this is something." And I remember we started talking right after that on Instagram, and we kept talking, and it was so cool because we met on such a nice mid path, right? With whatever we've lived, whatever we've shared, whatever we've learned. That was so cool to meet in that road and then see each other like months later. And then we walked from CST to Churchgate, then took a train from Churchgate to Villeparle. I mean, I was like, Villeparle I got on. But that whole journey, I think just before we started this thing, when we were on the call and you said, some things just turn out like this, some things just happen like this. And I feel like it took its own turn, and here we are. And I am more than honored, and I am really, really privileged to be a part of this and to be able to discuss this. I am grateful to you for starting this, first of all, these conversations, and also having me in them because it really means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you totally deserve this, and I'll have to tell you why, because um, I just came across your profile because obviously Vivian follows you, and then I saw you're doing this amazing thing called 100 Bad Days,
And who would have thought, right? Because I'll tell you, initially the idea of this podcast was, it was supposed to be called, I weirdly, it was supposed to be called Villain Number One or something like that, because and it was, I'm so glad it is not that now, it is processed. But the whole idea of the podcast was people coming on the podcast and telling us one bad thing that they've done. And yeah, because you don't, right? You always come in front of the camera and you say the good things that you've done. And here I come across, this person who is putting out bad days. And why would I want to know about, why would I want to share my bad days with anyone, for that matter of fact? So the very fact that you were ready to do that, I think, because we've already done this one episode, now that I can say that, I think that is another zone of vulnerability, another side of vulnerability which people don't have. I have to take you to another segment where I tell you that I have three of my favorites in 100 Bad Days. So
Oh,
obviously,
lovely.
I managed to stalk you a little, and and 100 is a lot, so I didn't go through all of them. I have to
It's
be
okay.
honest, but I went through. So I remember whenever they were released, I was super excited because I hate to say this on camera, but I was one of those people who would constantly send Harsh grammar mistakes in the
Yeah,
stories. I would tell him,
yeah,
listen, the comma is
yeah.
missing. Listen, the spelling is wrong,
I
and
appreciate it. I completely
and in the
appreciate
beginning,
it.
I used to feel pathetic. I used to be like, shit, here is this man who's trying to achieve a goal. And I am here telling him that he's missing a comma or a full stop. But eventually, when you accepted it, when you told me that you take it as a learning experience, and
Yeah, yeah.
you write them in a flow. So you write it in a
Yeah.
flow, and which is why it makes sense that you could miss a few things, right?
Yeah.
So I have to tell you my favorites. So weirdly or no weirdly, the first one has to be my favorite, which is
The
P
first
break,
one. Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
P
yeah.
break,
Yeah.
because I resonate with it so much, and I'll tell you, I shared it with my brother, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, this has happened with a lot of us."
Yeah.
And I remember just peeing in my pants all the time, all the
Yeah.
bloody time.
Yeah.
Oh
It wouldn't
God,
stop.
it
I
wouldn't
was like,
stop.
why is this happening? Okay.
And I'll
And
tell
I'm
you
like,
why it
why
was so
can't
bad. Yeah,
yeah.
you're saying.
No, just like how bad it was. But for me, I think so. I don't know what your like specific reason was. Okay, because I've realized the contrast in that sense in school times. Because I was very scared. Okay, so I would never land up asking my teacher, कि मेरे को can I please go to the washroom? I could see some kids do it, but I would really freak out. So I would be like, no, dude, maybe I shouldn't ask, and I would feel really scared. So I would keep it. I would like hold on to it to the last minute, and then if the bell didn't ring, then whatever God wanted me to do, I did. But
Exactly,
yeah.
and
So
I'll
right.
tell you because growing up, firstly, I was a very, I think I consider myself a very obedient student. So I used to ask the teacher once, and if she says a no, I will shut my mouth.
Oh wow,
Okay,
you
but
were
I
that
remember,
kid.
yeah, but I remember a couple of, like you said, a couple of these classmates who would go and just say, "मैम नहीं जाऊँगा तो पैंट में हो जाएगा."
Yeah,
Yeah, and I never had the balls to do that. And I remember just peeing in my pants and feeling so helpless doing it, because I was like, firstly, I'm embarrassed. I don't know what to do. And then I remember having bad dreams all my childhood. So
about this.
I no, just
Oh, okay,
generally
okay,
things,
okay.
because I don't know. And I remember I used to pee in bed till 7th grade, and it felt bad, and I
Which
and
is
I
cool,
don't feel
man.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
and I
is
don't
cool.
feel anything. Yeah, and I don't feel anything saying it now, but I used to feel really embarrassed about it earlier. But I remember just being in my bed till 7th grade, and my parents just wondering, what
Why?
is up? Why? What is up? Like, what is the problem? Like, can you not understand? Like, they wouldn't just tell me like you're doing it wrong, or they wouldn't yell at me, but they just wanted to know, what is it? Why is it happening constantly? And like, are you afraid? Are you scared? So I remember, which is why P break becomes such a beautiful
Yeah,
story to
yeah.
latch onto for me. And I'll tell you this. This stanza, or not stanza, I mean just these
The
lines
line
which
that
I feel,
yeah.
yeah, which I really loved. I'll tell you, wait a second. uh, yeah, it says I had all of it planned that as soon as this was over, I would run to the washroom. This is so us, okay? We plan this all the time in our head. This is so us. Unfortunately, they had a uniform check as soon as prayer got over. Now,
Yeah.
my mother was obviously responsible for all my dress code. I
Yeah.
was so sure she hasn't screwed up because you
Yeah.
have so much confidence in your mother. No, you're just
Yeah.
like, नहीं ये तो मैं तो निकलने वाला हूँ इससे.
Yeah. I'm
And
going to
then
go to the
then
washroom. The
yeah,
relief.
yeah, and then the climax comes, but my socks. They were a
Yeah.
little dirty, so I was asked to sit in the basketball court with the rest of the defaulters. As we waited, the heat hit me. But just to remind everyone, this is Bangalore.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is to everyone who hasn't been in Bangalore.
No
right?
context, yes.
It's
Yeah.
a great introduction to this first story, saying this is Bangalore. Winds still blow all over the year. As I
Yeah.
sit there controlling my urge to the natural act of peeing, I cannot tell you how beautiful you made peeing sound as a process. Yeah,
Oh, shit,
and I
never
remember,
imagined.
and I'll tell you because when these were released, okay, and this was released on 1st June 2019. When
Yes.
these were released, I wouldn't analyze them this way, okay, but it's been a year of being a story
Yeah.
person, and now I can sit down
Yeah.
and analyze these in a different way. Earlier they were just stories to me, and
Yeah.
it says winds still blow all over the year. As I sit there controlling my urge of the natural act of peeing, the wind blows and I let everything go. And after 10
Yeah.
minutes, they ask me to get up and go to class. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this part because I think it's personification to the process of peeing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
giving it a human feeling. It's telling that, it has a life of its own. And,
Yeah.
so pee break makes it to my first.
Um.
And I can understand it probably has a little special place in your heart because it was the first
First one. Yeah.
story. I feel storytelling makes the storyteller. I think you possess a few qualities. It makes you kinder. It makes you believe in love. It makes you believe in belongingness, trusting people. I think there are these certain qualities which I feel normal people who are non-storytellers won't have. So do you think, in your opinion, that if we actually take this, if storytelling really does work like magic, and if the world takes it seriously, do you think we'll be able to solve a lot of problems in the world?
That's very interesting, dude. It's a very, very interesting question. But firstly, you know what? I believe actually everyone is a storyteller in their own sense because when, like, for example, okay, just example, if you call yourself, you say, I'm not a storyteller, right? And I say, I am one. Let's just say that. And you and I walked from CST to Churchgate talking to each other. I don't know what you told me except the fact that I heard you narrating me stories from your life. So you are also a storyteller because you were able to create. I understand the standard definition and impact and all that, but I feel like
I mean, we'll obviously get to the point. I mean, I have to ask you obviously different ways of storytelling. It could include a lot of things: art, writing, cinema, everything, etc., etc. But the fact that if all storytelling, all kinds of art, if taken seriously, if taken for a purpose, if actually bring about a huge revolution,
It will.
and the
because you know what, firstly, being heard, like listening to people's stories more than like shoving your own or being like mine is the best, like whatever, because everyone's having an experience, like it really often makes me feel like, okay, everyone's having a different experience every single day. Even if, like, for example, even if my parents, my brother and I are watching a Marvel film together, we all are still living in different realities of our own, separate from the combined one. So I feel like first, listening to people's stories are important to bring a change. And second, I feel like slowly it might come, but there's also a difference, right? The one side of storytelling is very entertaining based. That's not really made for resolving crisis. It's made for entertainment. And the other side is for kind of understanding. But one thing I only understand mainly then more than anything else in stories have taught me one thing is empathy. And I feel like because of empathy, I'm able to like listen to you and acknowledge your like your quirks, your sides, you as a person, things that you have to offer, and in that process, things are happening, and like just as small as how did the whole Black Lives Matter start, because a story of one such person along with so many other stories of many other people through times of crisis and such harsh conditions and racist environments, so I'm saying like that story, I'm like I have not I'm met like I mean I've spoken to so many people over that period where everyone has been impacted the same, even though we don't identify with culture in the USA. We still understand how bad racism is and what can it do to a person or a family
Yeah.
or a group of people, right? So I'm saying, in a way, that is like a story that translated or transcripted or came in a different form to us, and that is now bringing a revolution of sorts. And
Yeah.
similarly, in many ways, Me Too. I'm not saying those are stories, but I'm saying like in the form of like something that turned into like conversation that built between two people, and listening to it made it seem like, yeah. So I feel like there should be more conversation, there should be more dialogues more than anything else, and there should be more acceptance and empathy, because I feel like with empathy you can reach a person's soul if you have to, if you want to. It's not very surface, it's very deep, it's very within.
Very deep, and
And
and I think it's fair to say that uh, being the smartest species living on this planet, we should be the first ones to do this. Empathy uh, could change so much. I mean, it's just, I don't think so. If we have known a world that is different than anything but empathy, empathy is I think it's the answer to
But
everything.
empathy, yeah, but empathy has
Yeah.
been lacking for the last few years and centuries. Centuries to नहीं बोल सकते, but years and decades as of now. But I feel like there are people who are personified forms of empathy. Who I am luckily, I can say that I'm fortunate to have known them, and also one of them is you. So I feel like it's a great thing to keep this going, and also to build it constantly, because we all are unlearning. We all
Yeah.
are learning. We all are unlearning. But the thing that remains and that keeps us is the fact that we can understand each other. We can live with each other. We can be like actually I believe like empathy is the key to a lot of things. To a lot of things. Just starting with understanding yourself. Like who,
Yeah.
why. Just being okay with it, being like it's fine, and then going to like your immediate circle and then to the world. But the impact, it's like a ripple effect. It starts with one and it keeps going on. So yeah.
So yeah, I think it does. I think empathy has been such an important part of my life, especially because I thought if I wanted people to understand me, I should be doing that first. I should
Yeah.
be understanding them myself. So I think
Yeah.
empathy comes from that place. But what it also but I have to take you to this point where I think, just like me, probably you've also spent your childhood listening to stories from
Yeah.
parents or books or everything. And there's this very famous story called The Rabbit and the Tortoise.
Yeah.
Uh,
The classic.
classic, which tells you not to rush into things, not to be overconfident, and to take, not to underestimate, especially anyone else. But what the beautiful part about, or not so beautiful part about this story is that it has a morale. It has a, or moral, whatever you call it. It has a moral of the story. And I
Yeah.
remember just reading story books all my childhood, where there would be a story and there'll be a moral of the story, which is
Yeah.
sabse niche. Same
Yeah.
goes for Marathi books. You'll have a katha and then
Yeah.
Tatparya. What is
Yeah.
the Tatparya? What is this? What is the moral of the story? Do you think that we have this sense of obsession when it comes to every story has to have a moral, or do you think
A silver lining,
today
you mean?
today you'll see a lot of movies which have a climax, or which have a end which is not so moral, which is not so, like, one of my favorites has to be Kahani. I don't know if you've seen the movie Kahani.
I have. Yeah. Yeah. It's a
you
very
know,
interesting film.
where I never expected her to, do what she
Correct.
did
In
at
the
of
end.
movie,
Yeah.
and you expected her to be a very abla nari, looking out for her husband and everything, etc., etc. But the moral changed completely. So we are not moral policing story. Do you think we're doing that to stories here? Do you think it's necessary, or could they just be stories?
No, I don't think. Think that stories need to have moral in any sense. But I do believe that when we were younger, it made sense to have like moral because like you know they're trying to make us good humans in a dark world. Because I like if we try making because the world's already gone darker. If we try getting for new generations of human to be nicer, maybe they will try finding a better solution or a way, or even look at themselves better. But it's funny because it's all contradicting. Because they would teach you morals, but they would like physically like not teachers but people. You would learn morals, but then you come outside your class and people would be teasing someone else or they would be fat shaming a kid. At that point, we didn't know these things. Anyways, so that's a separate thing. But I'm saying like you learn something nice and then you
Yeah.
like you break it. So I don't think morals are needed. I don't think morals are needed. Because you know what, like you don't need the third level of something to be like अच्छा story पढ़ा मैंने या story देखा मैंने या consume किया अब मैं क्या समझता हूँ. The story itself should leave thoughts in your head, should leave, yeah, should want you, should make you think. I mean, if it's that kind of story, should make you think, it should make you feel, it should make you question a lot of things. Because that's what happens when I see pieces of work out there, movies or videos or piece of writing, where at the end of it could be 4 lines, okay, of writing somewhere, written somewhere, and that 4 lines is making me think for the rest of the day. What more do I want? Do I need a moral then? I don't need it because I'm already thinking. Because the whole point of moral is to also let you know कि ऐसा करोगे तो ऐसा होता है. It's also a way to feed you or tell you things in a way or to teach you things. But I feel like नहीं यार, moral की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. Like okay, yeah, kids, yes, I understand. Till a certain point, you need to like introduce them to society, and maybe this is a way to introduce them to the world and tell them what it is like and what to do. But I feel like no, I don't
I
think.
get your point that I mean the fact that it's a story, because it's a story. तुम खुद समझ लो ये story है. You
Feel
don't
करो.
need to,
Yeah.
yeah, feel,
Yeah.
yeah. You don't need to have someone tell you, oh अच्छा इसका meaning था ये. You don't need that because
Yeah.
फिर वो question answer हो जाएगा ना यार. फिर वो
Yeah,
story नहीं रहेगा.
and then it's like and then it's there are various ways of it. I feel like discussion is okay, but I feel like if I'm being like Rahul Sun,
Yeah, maybe your point is like there couldn't be one moral. There could be multiple.
yeah, there's
it
many.
doesn't have to
That
be-
is definitely
yeah.
that is definitely
Yeah,
see
it
like how
doesn't have to
like
be-
for example. To or Vivian, okay, let's say 2 different people. You saw P break, you read P break, you resonate with it. Maybe Vivian doesn't, right? But he'll still maybe like the story, not like the story, whatever. That's up to him. So I feel like perspective comes into that. So multiple people can take multiple things, and I'm okay. And I feel like discussions are okay about how it happened, what happened. But I feel like I can't be like, Rahul, do you realize like P break means what? Like you have to always be like vocal, or you have to like I don't know, like it then would you feel the same way towards the story?
No,
Then
yeah.
you'll be like ये यार ये moral science का like मेरे को लग रहा है
Lecture
क्लासरूम
होगा.
है या इंग्लिश का पेपर है जहाँ पे पैसेज और क्वेश्चन आंसर है, फिर मेरे को सब जवाब देना पड़ेगा. It's very technical. It's not felt.
Really
But
perspectives, which is what
Yeah,
Alive and Kicking is about.
yeah, exactly.
I love this.
Plug
क्या
in.
बोलते हैं? Call back देता है.
Call back.
I was watching this
Call
Kamala
back.
video. He says call back to that joke, call back to that.
Yeah,
bit
so
I
call
did in
back to
the
your
beginning.
own form. It's callback and plug-in. You're plugging in Alive and Kicking very nicely, and you should continue doing it.
callback.
Yeah.
I'm,
You
I'm
have
learning this.
your Gujarati roots are helping with marketing your own brand.
Exactly. Thank God.
So,
thank
yeah.
God. I'm so glad I'm half Gujarati. It has really helped. Your relationship with poetry has been, how you think art is of different kinds. It could be writing, it could be cinema, it could be silent. Sometimes, I mean, even Charlie Chaplin made stories, and he was able to convey them without even saying a word. And I think
I'm
that
glad.
that
I'm
is-
glad you
that
bring
is-
Charlie Chaplin out because I absolutely. So one of the few people I look up to, one of it is Charlie Chaplin, one of it is Rowan Atkinson, and these two have again silently been able to make the world laugh without even having to say a word. The same goes for the creators of Tom and Jerry because I feel like that's the most universal cartoon I have ever come across. Anyone that I know, anyone from
I
anywhere,
love
any part of the world I've spoken to, has seen Tom and Jerry in their life at least once. So I feel like to create art that's universal. But anyway, sorry, yeah, you brought Charlie Chaplin. That it's like wow. Lovely dude. Yeah. Laurel Hardy, Charlie Chaplin.
Instincts,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So
But yeah, that's that's the thing, what your relationship with poetry has been. What are the how you think storytelling through different arts? I mean, like, we are not here to only talk about poetry, obviously, because that's something that's common in both of us. But I've known people who are artists, who paint, who do mimicry, who act, who are making movies and conveying messages, and that's the whole point of storytelling. And how has it evolved, and where do you see it going?
um, I think storytelling has always been in our roots. So the thing is, um, I'm reading Devdutt Patnaik ka Jaya, which is based on Mahabharat.
uh,
Mahabharat, right? So, and the thing is, I'm very late to the party. Okay, so like, kill me if you want to, but I'm very late to the party for all this. And like, Ramayana is something I've constantly seen a lot, but Mahabharat, because it is a blend of so many stories, I didn't know a lot of them, and now I'm trying to really like, I'm trying to allow myself to go and seek knowledge and stories from India, specifically that happened here. Folklores, traditional stories, generation of stories again. But also the thing is, coming back to the moral part, again, Ramayana Mahabharata is very moral based if you think of it.
It is.
Like good versus evil and things like that, like all of that. But anyways, so I feel like I'm not trying to look at it from that side, but uh, I feel like I want to understand these stories because stories are one of the finest ways of communication through generations, through people. Like I know a lot about why my father's like my father, because he told me stories, a lot of stories from when he was young, a lot of stories from when he was a teenager, when he grew up, the things he did, the bad habits he had, the person he ended up becoming, what he avoided, what he continued. So I feel like everyone for me, like I keep going back to it, is a walking talking story. So that's a different thing. But apart from that, I feel like stories and everything that have been passing on from generation to generation is a very, very amazing thing. And second, a very important thing I feel like is one, everyone is in some form a storyteller, even if they don't agree to it, even if they're not a performer based storyteller, they're still a storyteller. You don't have to be a performer to call it a storyteller. You can still be a storyteller in whatever form. And art, like in a way, is storytelling through different mediums. You just don't tell storytelling. Storytelling is also then later on, because storytelling has been going for years, right? Writing story books, giving out writing novels. All of that is a form of storybook. Comics are a form of storybook. Movies are a form of storybook. TV shows, poetry, stories. So there are different forms of storytelling. Like a magician, a mentalist today, when performs a show, they are still, conveying a story through different mediums. Compared to what I am doing on stage, compared to what Yash Barse, who's a musician, will be doing on stage, so there are different forms of of storytelling which people do adapt to. But I feel like all of it is one, to express, and second, main important, which I always like go back to, is I love it, is the fact that all of us could be in one room and still sustain every single day, is because we are us, right? I can't be you, you can't be me. So what you bring to the table, I will never be able to bring. We can resonate, we can relate, right? I can feel for you, I can understand what you're going through, but I'll never be you. And the same way around. So I feel like that's what's keeping us going, is because we're able to explore such different forms of story. By forms, I say people. By people, I say their lives, whatever they've lived, and whatever they're written. Because again, writing is us making a product and packaging it. Because we're packaging there. We're not telling directly, ki, by the way, I had a bad time, but I'm going to color it and decorate it and package it and then give it to you. It's the same thing inside. There's the same amount of pain that you also may feel, but I want to package it a little bit for you in my own sense, in my own way. And we all are kind of like gift wrapping our words and giving it to the world, because we've realized ki, these words belong to us till a certain point, but now it needs to be out for the world. And that's why it's fortunate and it's great that there are so many different forms of doing the same thing.
Storytelling, yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's kind of doing one or the other thing, and that's why everyone is a storyteller at the end of the day, somehow, in some relation. And also, you asked something about poetry. What about poetry? I
Yeah.
forgot.
How has your relationship with poetry been, and where do you see it going?
So, like everyone else, I'm also guilty of being like, "Hey, bro, do you need to rhyme words for poetry?" And I'm like, "No, you don't rhyme words." I didn't know about free verse for a long time, and I came across it because of my roommate, who I used to live with in RA. Shout out to my RA roommate. I want to add it specifically because I lived there, and there are no ghosts there, and it's a great place to live.
Thank you so much for busting that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So Anurag was this friend of mine who dropped out of college, traveled a few parts of the country, came back to Bombay, did screenwriting, got into. He's still doing films writing, doing a lot of things right now. He's in Delhi right now. So he and I lived together, and he introduced me to Freeverse, and I was like, "Oh, so you can just write like whatever you feel like in this context?" And he's like, yeah, just that's what Freeverse is. I was like, okay. So then I started writing. I started trying, and then I remember going to in January of 2016. I remember going to no, sorry, 2016 December. I wrote my first poem. 2017. I came back to Bombay after the summer holidays because this is my last year Peace for India. From 2017 Jan to April was my last 3 months. So I started. I went to this place called Q. What is that place in?
Cuckoo Club.
No, Cuckoo Club. No. Q Cafe. Q. What is that place next to Wildcraft a showroom in Bandra near that signal?
I'm from Borivali. Just saying, I'm from Borivali.
I'm sorry. I'm not saying you don't. I'm sure you know the areas. But so there's this cafe which was happening there first open mic. I just landed up somewhere there and I said, let's just do it. And I did one. And then the first time I did Habitat was again sometime in January where I just showed up for a tournament. And my first few time, and I remember writing something at the tournament, and I just went and performed. I didn't care if I win or lose. I just went, and I realized, oh yeah, this is a fun place, and I just started writing a lot of poems. I still think I still think I'm a very growing poet. I don't think I'm right.
Yeah, we all are. Yeah.
Natural storyteller than a poet, but I really I think I've grown a lot, and a lot of pieces of writing that I think I call poetry. I think a lot of it is very younger me writing, which now when I look back, I feel a little different. So some of them I've really discarded. Some of them I'm working on, and there are I think two pieces of poems that I have written that I absolutely love, and that's it. And I'm hoping to write more and more and find my way through it. But yeah, I found a nice way. I found when you used to when you were younger and you would go to these gift wrapping stores and you would see pehle to halka wala paper tha, then you saw this really nice wallpaper kind. So I feel like I'm between that phase where I'm I'm trying to understand how to gift wrap these things, but I'm slowly trying to find ways where I can reach the point of the wallpaper so I can also feel I'm happy with what I'm doing. So I'm creating, I'm trying. But I think it's a great relationship. I think because it also helps me. I think poetry and writing in general helps me seek out for myself, and poetry in general help me look out for my most immediate feelings, like my immediate feelings of right now. What am I feeling, and why am I feeling like that? And it's a nice way to understand myself. So yeah, that's what it is.
I hope you write more, Harsh. We unfortunately have to close this. I think it is. I can't keep a track of time. I don't know when we started, but I think that's the whole point of this thing was we're more than just a wallflower. We're all stories, like you said. We're breathing stories. When you mentioned writing it is documenting it, is giving it a life of its own, so they live forever. And I think that's the purpose of us. I think, in my opinion, if I have to close it down, I have to say we are nothing more than stories. And I think the best thing you can do with stories is tell them. Hey, you can listen to the whole podcast on Spotify. Just click on the link in the bio.